From The National, this is Trending Middle East. I'm Yasmin Al-Taji. It's Thursday, September 4th. Here are today's headlines. The UAE warned Israel that annexation of the occupied West Bank would be a red line. A UAE official said the move would undermine the vision and spirit of the Abraham Accords. Lana Nusaybeh, Assistant Minister for Political Affairs and envoy of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, said the move, quote, would severely undermine the vision and spirit of the Accords and the pursuit of regional integration and would alter the widely shared consensus on what the trajectory of this conflict should be, two states living side by side in peace, prosperity, and security, unquote. The National's Mohamad Harisi reports.
This is not the first time that the UAE has condemned an Israeli action since the beginning of the war in Gaza. But this is the strongest reaction to an Israeli step taken by the government, who includes extremist ministers pushing for annexation of the West Bank in order to prevent the establishment of a Palestinian state recognized by the international community.
This came after far-right Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich on Wednesday presented a plan to annex the majority of the West Bank. Israel has taken other steps in recent weeks that undermine the prospect of a Palestinian state, in particular approving construction of E1, an illegal settlement with thousands of homes near Jerusalem. Last month, the UAE issued a strong condemnation of Israel's latest settlement expansion in the occupied West Bank and the continuation of large-scale military operations in Gaza. The UAE warned that such actions threaten peace, stability, and humanitarian conditions across the region.
The importance of the UAE statement is that it highlighted that this annexation would lead to consequences and mentioned the Abraham Accords as being undermined with their vision and spirit.
The U.S. is again pushing for a resolution in northeastern Syria. Washington has renewed diplomatic pressure to resolve critical differences between the new Syrian Central Authorities in Damascus and the mostly Kurdish Syrian Democratic Forces, or SDF. That's according to sources briefed on American policy who spoke to The National. The push comes as violence between the two sides escalates. The National's Khaled Oweis reports.
Over the last several weeks, a simmering conflict has escalated between the new central authorities in Damascus and the country's Kurds, more specifically, the mostly Kurdish Syrian Democratic Forces. It is a US-backed militia in control of large areas of eastern Syria. These areas are the reservoir of Syria's oil, gas, power, and commodities. Restoring the east to central control is key for President Ahmed al-Shara to project confidence and that he is in control of the country, as well as to retain his core Sunni constituency. The Sunnis are the majority religion in Syria, while the Kurds, an ethnicity who are also Sunni or mostly Sunni, represent around 10% of the country's 22 million population before the outbreak of the civil war in 2011.
The new U.S. approach consists of less pressure on the Kurds. That's after American officials initially opposed Kurdish demands for a decentralized governing system in Syria. Washington has also put forth proposals to bridge the gap over the government's insistence that the SDF disbands.
Sources in Amman and Washington told The National that the US is proposing that the SDF partially disbands, meaning that part of the troops in the SDF joins the new Syrian army, while the rest remain as SDF in eastern Syria. This would give President Ahmed al-Shara part of what he wants, while Mazloum Abdi, the leader of the SDF and the main Kurdish figure now, would retain control on significant parts of his forces. However, there is enormous mistrust between the two sides. This mistrust magnified after a failed government takeover over the mostly Druze area of Sweda in June. The only solution, many who are following this file say, is for Mr. al-Shara to accept decentralization in Syria, meaning devolution of some powers from the center to the minorities in the peripheries of the country. Mr. Shara has not accepted this, and refuses this categorically. And the sources say even if he accepts, Turkey, the main backer of the current Syrian authorities, which regards the SDF as a mortal enemy, will not accept decentralization.
Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian has criticized the UN's nuclear watchdog. He also accused Western powers of quote-unquote double standards. This as he joined the leaders of China, Russia, and North Korea for a military parade in Beijing. Pezeshkian was one of 26 heads of state in the Chinese capital for a once-in-a-decade event showcasing China's growing firepower and diplomatic clout. Pezeshkian expressed, quote, dissatisfaction, unquote, with the conduct of the UN watchdog, the International Atomic Energy Agency, or IAEA. Pezeshkian has sought to defend the decision to prevent the UN's nuclear watchdog from visiting nuclear sites in Iran following the 12-day war with Israel. The interview with Chinese state broadcaster CCTV follows the decision by the UK, France, and Germany last week to begin initiating crippling UN sanctions on Tehran unless an agreement can be made before late September. But he said Iran was still ready to engage with international frameworks. That's all for this morning's headlines. You can get these stories and follow our live coverage at thenationalnews.com. Yasmin Al-Taji, The National.